Hi, and welcome to SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. That would be this guy. Today I've got some SEO experimental results for you, and today I also have some leaks from John Mueller of Google. I'm trying to catch up with the last few months, telling you all the stuff that's been going on. So without further ado, I'll get right to that. So here's one experiment. So a client friend of mine recently contacted me in October, late October. So basically what he did is he decided to remove all the logos off his site and replace them with H1s. And he removed all the external links from his site. And he immediately dropped to page 3. So, cause correlation. You never know for sure that this was what caused that. But I would not recommend removing your logos and going to H1s. That was either keyword stuffing on H1s possibly, or it's entirely possible that Google likes to have robust modern designs. And there's a lot of rumors that external links are a quality signal, and again, he moved those and had a problem. So for whatever it's worth, someone tried this experiment, unfortunately on their main site, and this is what happened. So I would not recommend you do those things. Or I'll shave you like I shaved that cat. Just kidding, I didn't shave the cat. It's a Sphinx. It doesn't come with it. Okay, so now for John Mueller. On September 11th, Jonathan Mueller of the Switzerland, he had a hangout. So he had a bunch of interesting things to say here. So he reminded us to only use clean, non-URL parameter links for your navigation. Don't have URL parameters in your sitemaps. Don't have URL parameters in your navigation, your site navigation. He keeps warning us against this, and so I can only presume this is some kind of canonical issue. Because again, he's told us not to put URL parameters in rel canonicals either. And in previous Hangouts, he has mentioned that it's a canonical issue, that they will almost never choose a URL parameter as a canonical URL. I don't know why, either because he's also mentioned that URL parameters are longer and they'll always choose the shorter URL when they have to choose between two of them. That could be that reason. Or it could be that they just decided that they don't want to accept URL parameters for some stupid reason as the default, as a canonical URL. And the reason why I say stupid is because there's plenty of content management systems out there, including, as I understand it, WordPress. A very common installation of WordPress is to have URL parameters. Now, a URL parameter is when you have a question mark, something equals blah. So you have question mark, variable equals blah, 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 blah. So it'd be xyz.com / index.html, question mark, Josh is the greatest equals yes. Did you get it? Sorry, never mind. So that would be a URL parameter, and then with the question mark afterwards. As opposed to, say, like a named anchor where you have the hash bang, which you also use on the hash, sorry, not the hash bang. I was thinking of something else there, just like the hashtag stupid, hashtag I never want to hear a hashtag again. It's that thing. Old people like me call it the pound because it was pound on a phone touchdown. So yes, so that's different. That's used in Ajax, and that's used for named anchors and things like that. That's not a URL parameter. So if you have the choice, make everything simple. If you have the choice, be consistent. You have the choice, make everything simple. The simpler you make it for Google, the more palatable to their Googlebot, and this has been the same since 1999. The more palatable you make your web pages for Googlebot, the more likely you're not going to have any problems with Google. Okay. He also said, don't interlink all pages to all pages. This is very important because basically, if I could put it in ye olde black hat terms, that's not how you do PageRank sculpting, right? You want the index page to flow directly to your ranking pages. You want the index page link juice to go to your ranking pages, whatever pages you want to rank, and you want most of your internal site linking to the index page. Linking to these ranking pages. So that, or the index page, which links to the ranking pages. So that way, you're sculpting all your PageRank, you're flowing it to what John Mueller now calls the most important pages. And that tells Google what pages are important on that site, what that site's about, and what they should be ranking. So, and John Mueller's reminded us of that. Don't interlink all pages to all pages, because then it's a 1-to-1 ratio of Every page links to every page. They can't see any kind of hierarchy. You can't pool link juice, and their algorithms can't easily tell what this site is about or what they should be ranking it for. Okay, so here's a reminder as well. Content keywords is only what they have crawled. Remember, if you have any text hidden in a tab or like click here to get more information, they spider that, they crawl that. But because it's hidden, there's no hidden penalty anymore, but they just don't use it for ranking. They're like, okay, well, if you don't think it's important enough to show the user on first glance, then it's not what this page is about. It's a disclaimer or something. They're not really sure. So you've got to remember that if it's in a tab or something like that, Google's not going to rank it. They still crawl it though, so if you're trying to hide stuff from them, that's not the way to do it. And another fellow, I can't remember his name, but I could probably find it if you want to see it. Email me, I can probably find it. He did a great experiment where he tested like all these different ways of doing JavaScript, tested hidden text, all these different kind of things, and Google could spider and crawl it all. And if you did like a quotation search, it'll come up. So Google's getting very good at parsing JavaScript and reading, even on scroll and on things to click, stuff like that. They could still read it. So, but they may not be using it for ranking, and they may not be holding it against you, or they're not holding it for you anyway. They may hold it against you if it's like you're trying to hide affiliate stuff or stuff like that. That's not the way to do it. There's other ways you want to try and cloak that. Did I say cloak? I did. Oh no. The world ends. Yes, and so here's my tip as well. If you want to find out what Google thinks your page is about, don't rely on the content keywords in the search console, because again, that's only what they've crawled. That's the context of this conversation. That's what John Mueller was talking about. So if you only see, if you want to look at your content keywords in Search Console, and make sure you don't see any like Viagra or like hacked content in there. Unless your site's about Viagra, then you should see it in there. But you want to make sure you don't see anything that's off topic that could be you've been hacked or something like that. Then that's what that tool is for. It's not about what Google thinks your site is about, because they use both your on-page stuff and user metric searches, what people click to you and terminate the search for, and off-page references as well. Text mentions, no-follow mentions, and links that all point, see that? That was good, eh? That all point to your site. And they use all of that semantic latent indexing to determine what your site is about. So if you want to use their algorithm for semantic latent indexing, I would recommend you use the Google keyword, the AdWords keyword planner, and paste in your URL and see what suggestions come up for what you should bid on. Because those are the search queries technically you should rank for, theoretically speaking, if you have the authority and the quality rank and the user metrics to back it up. Okay, here's another thorny issue. Exact match query internal blog links. I still see people doing this. They have a blog, because in 2008 that's what you were supposed to do. They have a blog, and if they're trying to sell red apples, they'll be like, article on red apples. These places have red apples, best red apples, and the link will go to your red apples sales page. Now, John Mueller said, he's said again and again not to do this, and so people pressed him, and he gave him a little bit of a better answer, so let me give this answer to you because it's a little bit more clear. So he said, in general, I quote, in general, it's not a problem if the content is useful. So one, it has to be a useful article. So check your user metrics. So that's a Panda problem. Check your user metrics to make sure people like this. Is it shared? Do they come back to it? Do they stay long enough to enjoy it? By the way, don't trust the average time on page in Google Analytics. You need to look at the drop-off rate. You need to install the Panda code that fires an event every 5 to 15 seconds so you get a real sense of how long people actually stay there. If you want information about that, by all means, contact me. Just before I forget, my email address is joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at joshbachynski, and you can watch more videos like this with great SEO goodies and even more yucky yucks, like I'm giving you now, at youtube.com/jbachynski. That's JBACH-. Now, so he said, you have to check your user. He didn't say this. I'm saying this. He has said this in previous Hangouts, though. You have to check your user metrics on the articles, and that'll tell you if it's low quality or not. Now, whether they're directly tracking user metrics or not, I believe they are. I believe there's evidence to suggest that they are. Black Hats have done experiments, and people have been testing. Rand Fishkin and Moz did a test. I think they're using user metrics. I think it's pretty clear that RankBrain is using user metrics. I think that's the third biggest signal that they're talking about. when they said RankBrain, their new AI. By the way, they have an artificial intelligence. It's called RankBrain. Check my previous videos if you don't know what I'm talking about. I think that's what it uses, right? Anyway, check your user metrics to make sure the article is good quality and people are enjoying it. If people aren't enjoying it, then it's not good quality. Now, so as long as the content's useful, then if you do it moderately, and I quote, and not linking every keyword to every page on your site, end quote, then having exact match query internal links is not a problem. The problem is, quality of the blog page. Don't just make it to make links because it doesn't help at all. In fact, it hurts you. That's exactly what Panda was made to target. 1, 2, and stuffing keywords is a problem too. If you stuff keywords in there, then that's going to be a problem. Keyword stuffing still is a huge issue. My recent correlation studies show that keyword stuffing helps up to a point and drops off sharply, which lo and behold is exactly what Matt Cutts said would happen a couple of years ago. So don't do it. Only do it to the point where Google AdWords Keyword Planner says, yes, you're about this. You should bid on these queries. That's what you'll rank for if you get the authority and the quality rank. And then stop adding keywords to the page, right? As long as Google knows what that page is about, they will rank it. And yes, you will rank a little bit more about that, but you can't go too far because they realize people are going too far and they inverse it. It drops off sharply and then starts to hurt you at some point. So that's a quality problem, the keyword stuffing problem, and again, the problem I just mentioned of the linking every page to every page. You're just flowing the link juice poorly. It's good if you got most of the links on your site going to your top 5 or 10 ranking pages, whatever that's supposed to be, even if it's 1 or 2 ranking pages. Probably not the index page, unless your index page is the landing page, is your squeeze page, is your conversion page, because they probably won't rank that either. They don't like ranking. No, it's not 2001 anymore. They don't like ranking index pages over to the exact thing the user wants. They want to give a one-to-one correlation. Users want to buy red apples. They're going to give you the buy red apples page with the actual converting form in it, and now RankBrain will actually send you zombie traffic and will try your form. So your form has to be easy to load, as small as possible. Use autocomplete on all of your HTML forms, F-O-R-M-S, not forms that they convert, they put in their information and click go. If you could just put one field, email address, go, that would be ideal. That would be the best thing, as few clicks as possible. I know a lot of places, I know I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. A lot of places like to weed out, dumb purchase people who, can't fill in a form, so you don't want to bother, with the sales process with those people. Don't do that. You want to put an email there, your phone number there, they click go. You want to terminate the search as quickly and easily as possible because people are, the people you're weeding out because they're dumb and they can't fill out a form are the exact people who are bouncing back to Google and selecting something else and pandifying you. So now you have to tailor to you have to cater to those people. Okay. He was asked if tag pages are thin pages, and are the tags bad? John Mueller again said, and I quote, quality algos look at the site overall. If we see a bulk of the index content as low quality content, then we might say, well, maybe the site overall is lower quality. And then if you know index, in my words, back to his quote, then we take into account only the quality content. So, unlike Gary Iles, who said you can no index, and John Mueller said you can no index as well, but it's better to make the page better. Because you see, once you give a page, let's say you give a site 1,000 web pages, it has that much internal link juice, and has that much authority, and has that much size, and that many ranking pages. And you get X number of, so you have X number of pages, you get Y rank. If you go X minus 50, you're going to get Y minus some variable, right? So if you decrease pages, your rankings will decrease because your domain authority decreases, your page size decreases, and your ranking pages are removed. And any link juice flowing into those pages from outside the site or social signals from flowing outside the site are removed because they 404. You no longer have them anymore, so it cuts it off. So that's why Gary Iles said you're not supposed to no index. No indexing is the same as 404, more or less in terms of search engines. So you're not supposed to delete pages. You only make good quality pages and keep them good quality pages. If you have pages that are not high quality, make them high quality. That's the best thing to do. But I still recommend that if you have a low quality blog and it's not ranking now, check in Search Console, and you can filter by blog. You can filter pages by a search blog. The new Search Console ranking tool is actually pretty cool. Check out my video on Search Console where I show you how you can use it and how you can tailor it a little bit. I'll probably be making a better one just on that portion of it coming up in the next few months. I'm going to Ireland to do a TED Talk, so getting too big for my britches here. So, so I'm going to be busy for the next couple of weeks, and then it's Christmas, and my in-laws are going to be here. So I might be busy for the next couple of weeks there too. But in the next couple months, I'll be making that. So now, the point about these thin tag pages are that, again, if your user metrics are bad on some collection of pages, then that's going to be a bad thing. If the bulk, and they also, I still believe they still have static. If they have these factors in the page, therefore declare they're low quality. I think with RankBrain, those are going to go away, because RankBrain, here's the beautiful thing about the AI. It doesn't have human bias, right? All the search engineers at Google are all jaded because black hats have been, in a way, they've been kind of outsmarting them, kind of, if you want to think of it that way. Or at least maybe the Google engineers got a little chip on their shoulder, and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to do that? SEO is fine. We're going to write algorithms just to demote you on purpose. Of course, the AI, RankBrain, doesn't have those biases. RankBrain says, RankBrain is a computer. It goes, user metrics good. This tells me page good. Rank it. It doesn't care how you got there, right? So we're kind of going back to a golden age of in this case, black hat SEO, where as long as you are satisfying that search as far as RankBrain can tell based on the user metrics, and they're getting really good at detecting bad IP addresses and things like that. So I wouldn't even bother with that unless you've got a really crappy site that no one is going to like. But this should never happen for any reason. You should always be terminating the search. If you're doing payday loans or Viagra or whatever you're doing, you should always terminate the search. And Google, you should never bet against Google's technical capabilities when it comes to their resources of how they can detect IP addresses. Remember, they probably own about half the internet, right? The backbone fibers and the routers and things like that, they own quite a chunk of it. So they can tell. Matt Cutts laughed publicly out loud once. He's like, Turk IP addresses. He laughed like these are the funniest thing in the world. They can, and it wasn't fake. I can tell when the guy's faking it. In terms of his laugh, that's what I'm talking about. That didn't sound quite right. Anyway, he has all the tells anyway. So they can detect IP addresses. They can detect IP addresses very easily. So so I wouldn't bother trying to fake the IP addresses. I would just make a page where you're satisfying the intent, which is if people want to buy, they're buying. So and that's what you want to do. That's how you make your money. Great. So they do that. You're just going to make more sales anyway. So getting back to the tag pages, they detect user metrics, and I think also in static static things on the web page. Check my list called at the moral concept /pandalist.html. It's the Panda 4.2 complete leaked Google list or something like that. It's still, I think it's still relevant, and I think it's still relevant. It's going to be still relevant. That's going to decrease over time, but I think it's still relevant because the more they use RankBrain just detecting user metrics, the less they're going to have to rely on their bullcrap human biased opinion. What makes a bad page or not? Does it have an interstitial pops up? The interstitial pops up and everyone doesn't care and they click through, then RankBrain's going to go, fine, I don't care. But if the interstitial pops up and everyone bounces because they're annoyed at their pop-up or whatever, then that's going to be a problem. And I think that's the way it should be. That makes sense in my head. That's how I would do it. And I'm brilliant. No, I'm not. But that's how I would do it anyway. And so I think that's how they're going to do it. So now, just remember, he just reminded us that Googlebot and mobile Googlebot are entirely different programs / crawlers. Googlebot and mobile Googlebot are entirely different programs. Just remember that whenever they say what a mobile ranking factor is and what a desktop ranking factor is. Here's something amazing that he said. So here's a bombshell he dropped. Before, he's always said the opposite. He was asked, is structured data a ranking signal? And he said, yes. He says, eventually it will be. He confirmed it, point blank. He confirmed it. That he says, in general, no, not right now. But he says, yes, eventually it's going to be a ranking signal. Because it makes it easier for them to tell what your page is about. And he said, I quote, in time, this will flow into the rankings. So he's talking about RankBrain there, right? The more they use RankBrain, the more RankBrain tries to automatically tell what a page is about. The more the schema says, hey, this is a product page selling products. X product, here, get the product, here's a product. That's what the schema tells it. So RankBrain goes, okay, people looking for product, rank this page, A/B test it, see if people like it. People like it, leave it there. That's how it's going to work. That's how it's working now. That's how it's going to work. With just a few legacy link signals, very minor, and some now legacy social signals and buzz and whatnot, just to get Google's attention. Hey, look at this, and then find, out of the billions of trillions, 40 trillion pages they have to rank, 40 trillion plus pages they have to rank. That's not how much is in their index, their ranking index. That's in their raw index, because that's how many pages they're aware of that they've crawled. So yes, so schema is important. You've got to install your schema. If it's an event page, if it's a product page, if it's an organization page, you have to install your schema, and you have to have it installed right. It will hurt you if you're not. And it also has to do with your rich snippets as well. You can also tailor your rich snippets now on the Search Console. And it'll make your CTR higher, and I think a higher CTR increases your ranks as well, as Miley Oyu from Google has been saying for a long time. Okay. John Mueller also reminded us that you have to keep your 301s forever, or they will be dropped. He said, yeah, blah, blah. He kind of waffled off, but quite frankly, he was pretty blunt. If you drop your 301s, if you drop your canonical signals, then Google's not going to count them anymore. So if you want to keep that link juice, you got to keep those 301s going forever. And here, because people have heard about zombie traffic and about RankBrain, John Mueller was asked directly, does Google submit forms? And John Mueller said, he waffled, and he gave that little look on his face like, I'm not telling you everything. But he said, yes, we do submit forms. And then he tried to say it was only on search forms, which we already knew. We've known for years that Google will submit search forms. And so I bet you that people have sat on their website and watched the traffic from Google IP addresses submitting forms 5 minutes apart. So it's clearly a bot on their site. So yes, they submit forms. And so John Mueller knows, we know, and we know he knows, we know. And he knows, we know, he knows, we know. Or something like that. Okay. So here's another fascinating thing he said. He mentioned something, if you want to check out all this stuff. This is my interpretation. You don't like my interpretation? Well, then you can go watch it yourself and come up with your own interpretation. It was September 11th. It's Hangout September 11th. Just search John Mueller, YouTube, Webmaster Hangout, September 11th. You should be able to get it. Okay. He also said this. He claims that disavowing a page that no longer exists does nothing. Because when they crawl it, they see that page no longer exists, so the link is not counted. So here's the funny thing about the disavow tool. And again, I might change my tune, because they're releasing a new Penguin, which, by the way, it's on November 20th when I'm making this video. And I think that they're testing Penguin right now, because I've seen previous Penguin hits or Penguin released sites. They're fluctuating. So I have a number of those that I know of that I can watch. So I think they're testing Penguin now. It only makes sense they're testing Penguin now. So the question is going to be this new real-time or close to real-time Penguin that's running continuously. So the question is, are they going to let you disavow out of that? My answer is probably no. Matt Cutts told me they would never do that. I know Matt Cutts doesn't work there anymore, but Matt Cutts was kind of the conscience of those people, and with him gone, they're even worse. So I know I've been critical of Matt Cutts in the past, but quite frankly, he wasn't as bad as they are now. I mean, the current head of web spam is a coward. They won't even release their name of who they are, so that they can be publicly held to account for all the hurting people they do and disenfranchising of people that they do. If you want to hear more about that, I have a TED Talk coming up on it. So I don't know if the disavow file is going to work for this new Penguin. I hope so. I hope it'll actually do something, but I strongly doubt that it will. Okay, and finally, John Mueller admitted that Google understands semantic relation per country as well. So he said that Coca-Cola might be the best result for a soft drink, for example. So you're searching for soft drink. Coca-Cola in your country, in some countries might be the best result, in some countries not. So remember, the semantic latent indexing, Hummingbird, the entity search, RankBrain, it all works together based on all the different factors, including personalization, including geolocation. So that's just a great example of how Hummingbird and RankBrain is like the capping stone of Hummingbird. Hummingbird has been around since June 2013. It was a complete rewrite of the algorithm that uses entity-based search. They spider the web and create an entity database of people, places, things, web pages, products, web pages that sell products, web pages that let you sign up for this, web pages that let you sign up for that. It's all entity based. So that was the Hangout for September 11th. I have a little game for you. Behind me has walked a number of animals. How many animals walked behind me? This is the game you have to answer. If you can guess how many animals walked behind me, then you win a prize. I'm not telling you what the prize is, because I haven't decided what the prize is. But, oh, there's another one. Whoa, whoa. If you can tell me how many animals walked behind me, I'll give you some kind of special SEO prize. So that's my Hangout for today. That's it. I'm done. That was a Hangout. That was John Mueller's Hangout, September 11th. That's my synopsis of it. If you have any SEO questions, by all means, contact me again at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me at Twitter at joshbachynski, and you can watch more SEO videos like this, even better ones, at youtube.com/jbachins. So until next time, I'll be in Ireland for the next few weeks, but I'll come back to it mid-December, more or less. And if you have any questions, until that time, I bid you adieu, and good luck in the service.